just because we get around. Talking about my generation. Things they do look awful. Talking about my generation. I hope I die before I get old. Talking about my generation.
Alright, so I'll never forget, this used to be the main tunnel coming in and out. It's turn 4 tunnel. My first time here, excitement, stoked to be in Daytona, all that goes into that. Pop out of the tunnel, and right here on the left coming by was the black number 3 of Dale Earnhardt. And I was like, yep, I've officially arrived in Daytona. Oh, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
My first year as a full-time NASCAR driver, 2002, obviously first race of the year is Daytona 500. So here we come in, new car number, new driver, nothing to fall back on. You know, our goal was to sit on the front row somehow to ensure that we would be in the Daytona 500 for our first attempt with Lowe's and Chevy and all of our sponsors. Thankfully, Knaus built the fastest car out there. We sat on the pole. We have the qualifying races that take place on Thursday leading into the 500 weekend. And on like lap 5 or something, get racing, and I think it was Mike Wallace, something goes on. I get my left side tires below the yellow line as I'm kind of advancing by Mike Wallace, and they black flagged me. So thankfully we qualified on the pole, because the way it worked out, I would not have finished high enough to make the Daytona 500, and we would have been on the truck heading home. I joke around and call it the Daytona 2.5 mile race that I did. We had a rain delay. It's the year that Juan Pablo had the incident with the jet dryer and tried to burn down the turn 3 corner of the track. But we were literally completing the very first lap, and I think Elliott Sadler was behind me and trying to help do the bump draft and push me. And it didn't work out too well. I get spun out, a huge impact in the door. So that was my Daytona 2.5 mile race. So for me, the Daytona 500 always blows my mind. And I mean, we've had literally presidents walking around, celebrities all the time that are there, the fans that are out there on the front stretch, and you can't hide from that moment. Like, your adrenaline and anxiety is just through the roof. I mean, we haven't had any reps lately, right? So you're just highly queued up. And then knowing the risk that's associated with the restrictor plate racing. Daytona and Talladega, those 2 races, there's a pit in my stomach. I mean, there just is. You can't help but in your mind see some of these gnarly crashes that have happened. And you just hope that you're not the guy tumbling down the front stretch or the back stretch later on that day. In 2006, in winning that Daytona 500, was big for me and our team on so many levels. In 2005, we yet again lost the championship. Winter of 2005 is when Rick Hendrick has the Milk and Cookies meeting with me and Knaus. So we spend the winter learning how to communicate better, Chad learning how to delegate better. We have this great period of growth. We think we're ready. Well, Chad goes to the track and gets in trouble for a device that we had on the car they found in tech. So they not only suspend him, but they send him home right then and there. So now we're in speed weeks. We hoped that we were strong enough to weather any storm, and now we're in the biggest storm of our careers. So Darian Grubb steps up as crew chief. We work through the weekend, get a great driving race car, had a ton of speed in it. Closing lap of the race, coming down the back straightaway, leading. Ryan Newman is kind of fades to the outside. I'm on the inside, and I look up in the mirror, and I see one of my best friends in Casey Mears. I'm in a Chevy, he's in something else. Ryan Newman's in the same car he's in, and I'm just saying, please follow me, please follow me, please follow me. Thankfully he does. I end up coming around and win my first Daytona 500. The fact that we had to weather that storm, and that was just race 1 of a few that we had without Chad. I think our worst finish in those 3 races was second. So the growth that we had over the winter leading into that Daytona 500 set us up for that first win at the Daytona 500, and then that is the year I won my very first championship.
Just because we get around.